Hey guys, Crazy Postman here. Well, I've been using the Shark AI robot vacuum for a couple of weeks now, and I have the XL HEPA filter base, and I just wanted to share some of my experiences. This would be kind of a quick review, not really a full review. I'll talk about it for a second, and then I'll show you an example of it running. And I'm going to share some of the things I like about it and a few things that I don't like about it. So here we go. So I've had a few robot vacuums now, and the predecessor to this one I had at my house was an Ecovacs D-Bot robot. And one of the things I liked about it was the LiDAR on top. And this is Shark's first attempt at a LiDAR robot. I think they're superior to visual robots or the ones that just bounce around in random navigation. The LiDAR bots allow for really accurate mapping, which is a plus. Now, don't get me wrong, if one company can do the cameras good, it's iRobot. And I'm not really, I'm not dissing on the iRobots because that new J7 is a really good robot, even though it doesn't have LiDAR. Let me get back to the Shark here. So like I was saying, the main thing about this one is the LiDAR. It makes really good maps and allows it to move around the house with no problem. It knows where it's going. It makes a map. It shows you can show the rooms. I'll show a picture here of the map. So anyway, here's a quick picture of the map. You can see that I have a guest bedroom, office, hallway, bathroom. Everything is labeled, and I have a few no-go zones there in the kitchen. If you look real close, there's a doorway that leads to a laundry room, and there's a big step, so I definitely don't want it going that way. And in the master bedroom, I have the underneath the bed blocked off just because, I mean, it's cleaned under there once. It doesn't need to clean under there every time, and that saves time. There's the map that it makes. The map leads me to one of the things that I don't like about the Shark. Most LiDAR-based robots have a live map, and I can show you here from a previous recording from my D-Bot. You can see it moving around in the house. You can see the path it makes, and you know exactly where it is when you look at the app. Well, the Shark app does not do that. Once you tell it to go to a room, that's it. You don't see any updates or anything new on the map. You don't know where it's been or how much it's done of the room. The app is just a lot more basic than some of the other LiDAR robots. Now that's going to lead me to a thing that I really like about this robot. Obviously, I have pets, and the hair and the dander is a problem. If you've seen in some of my last videos, the D-Bot was great. It cleaned good, but sometimes I would have to empty its container before it's even cleaned the whole house. So, I mean, that was really kind of irritating to have to stop and empty its container for it to continue cleaning, because once the container gets full, you're not really cleaning anymore. It'll still drive around, but you're not sucking anything up because there's no room in there. So this bin is going to be absolutely, completely full. Keep in mind, I have to empty, I know I've said this several times, this is one vacuum. I have to empty this every time with my pets. You may consider that whenever you buy one of these, because you will have to empty this quite a bit. So here we go. This is going to be disgusting. That is disgusting. And it's blowing because my fan is on. But look at that. So that's what I like about this Shark, is the self-empty bin. So in the sales pitch for this thing, Shark's going to tell you that this bin is good for 60 days. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but that must be 60 days of just fine dust and sand that it's picking up, because 60 days of pet hair is not going to fit in this thing. And that's one of the selling points they say here. Perfect for pet hair, but 60 days of pet hair is not going to fit in here. I'm going to show you in just a second. Now, I've emptied this thing probably 5 times in 2 weeks. And I've probably got at least 2 vacuums in here right now. I'm going to show you how much is in there here in just a second. Probably make a pretty big mess in the process, but this thing does what it's supposed to do pretty good. It does vacuum well. It finds its way around the house, and every 30 minutes it will come back to its base and empty. That's a setting in the app you can set, and I recommend it. For the cleaning side of it, I have no problems. The only problem I have with this is the app. And you know, that can be updated. Maybe they're working on it. I'm not affiliated with Shark in any way. They have never contacted me. I bought this with my own money. And speaking of my own money, right now they're selling this thing for $6.49, which I don't recommend you buying it for $6.49. I think that's just a little too much for this particular one. But if you can find this in the $400 or $300 area, this is a very good vacuum. Right now on the Shark website, you can get it for $4.49 using the code ROBOT200. Now, that's just for info. Like I said, I'm not affiliated with this. I don't get any kind of kickback or nothing. Shark doesn't know I'm filming this. Let me open up this container now, and I'm going to show you about 2 vacuums worth of pet hair from my house here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I got a piece of paper here on the table. I'm going to pull this out and dump it on. But as you can see, there's a little window here that you're supposed to be able to see into the machine. And right now, this window is just kind of covered in dog dander or dust or dirt or something. You can't really see in there very well. But the thing you do, you just hit this eject button right here, and this whole capsule comes out in a nice clean motion. Now you can see here, it's already dusty and dirty. If you can look in there, if we can zoom in there, well, that's the top of a filter, evidently, and it is really dusty and dirty in there. This is going to be a huge mess, because you don't do this. You do this in a trash can. I'm just going to show you here. So you push this. Look at that. Now that is just 2 vacuums. Oh my goodness. That is just 2 vacuums worth of stuff in this container. Look at all that fine dust that just come out of the top of that. So it is blocking all this dust from entering the house. Now there is a couple more filters here on this machine. If you look here on the side, there's another button that says filter access. It's not really a button. But if you lift that up, down in here is another filter. And all you do is you just reach down in there and look at all that dirt that is on this one. Holy moly. You know what? I was gonna knock this out in the house, but let's go ahead and go outside for this one. You can see here that is a ridiculous amount of dirt on here. Now keep in mind, this is just 2 weeks of dirt on this thing. I have never cleaned this one. Now the big one I have dumped many times. That is just 2 vacuums. This is 2 weeks. So let's go out to the driveway and I'll show you how much dirt comes off this thing. Alright, so you join me here in the driveway, and the dust is already kind of starting to blow off of this thing. So let's just see how much dust comes off here. Oh my goodness. Guys, that is a lot of dust. It is stopping from getting in my house. I don't know how much of this is going to show up on video because of the brightness out here, but it's windy and it's just blowing away as I am cleaning it off. So there you go. Okay, so we got our dusted off filter. We're going to go ahead and just set it back down into its little home where it goes. It just sets in there. Now there is one more filter on this that, oh, see, here's the instructions for this. It does tell you that it is washable. Over here on the other side, and you'll see a little pull down. I still got dust all over me. Pull that, and there is the last filter. Oh, pull it down. That's why it says down on there. This one is very clean still. So you can see the other filters are stopping all the debris. Yeah, this filter is very clean. There's a little bit of dust up in there, but not bad at all. The filter itself is still really clean. Let me show you how you access the dust bin on this thing real quick. On the back here, you see it's a little self-empty port. There's two little handles, and you just pull that out just like that. And you can see, oh, I found another filter. You can see that opens up to a nice, it's done a pretty good job emptying. I've never opened this before actually, so there's a little bit of hair up here in this latch area, but other than that it does a really good job at self-emptying. Now you can see I found another filter. Look at all that dust on there. So there's our piece of computer paper. Let's check out this filter. So that is the underside of the screen. It's kind of like a pre-filter. It gets the big stuff. And then here is the filter. There you go. So that is just 2 weeks of dust that this thing has caught. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna choke here. Let me get out of this room because I can hardly breathe, and I will meet y'all in the living room with all this put back together. I'm just playing with this dust here. That is just a ridiculous amount of dust. It's like a small mountain. Gross. So this is where his dock lives in my house, just here between the living room and the dining room. And I told him to dock, so he will find his dock and then he will back into it there. So he's located it. And now he will drive forward a little bit and then ram back into it. And then there you have it. That's how he charges and empties here. He might not empty. Oh, there it goes. So that's how long it runs while it empties. And then here is the living room we're about to clean. I have multiple animals, so the carpet's in pretty bad shape. but I'm going to spread some debris around the floor, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. Alright, so here is my weapon of choice. I use these Fruity Dino Bites because, of course, they're off-brand. Who's going to really throw real Fruity Pebbles on the floor? Jokes aside, because they're colorful and easy to pick out of the carpet. We're going to run it 3 times. We're going to run it under... You'll have to... My carpet's already pretty much destroyed because of the dogs. But we're going to run this 3 times. I'm going to sprinkle it around the floor. And we're going to run it on the Eco, Regular, and Ultra. And see if there's any difference in the amount that's left behind. Now I'm going to try to, put down about the same amount, but this is not very scientific. I'm just going to sprinkle it around the floor. So let's go here. Oh man, that's a lot. My dog's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing to the..." Don't eat that. Okay, so I got everything sprinkled. He's eating it. Seriously, don't eat that. So we got this all sprinkled around the floor now. You can see here about how much is lying around. It's a pretty good amount around the whole floor. So like I said, we're going to run it 3 times. I'm going to put you all on fast forward here, and we're going to see if the suction power makes a difference. So let's go. Okay, so we can see it's having quite some trouble cleaning this floor. It's leaving so much behind. And what I think may have happened is the thing may be full. What I think may have happened is the bin is full. So we're going to pull that out and just see what the bin looks like. No. The bin is not full. It still has space in there. About 2/3 of its space is available still. So Eco mode just sucks this bad, or doesn't suck. Anyway, we will carry on with this and just see how bad it is when it's done. To be honest, what I think is happening here in Eco mode, I don't even hear the vacuum running. I think Eco mode may only be the brush spinning. So I don't know this for a fact. This has always been kind of a quiet vacuum, so don't take my word for it, but it is very quiet right now. I think it's just the brush spinning. I don't think there's any vacuum going on Eco mode. It's just a glorified broom right now. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm going to tell it to go ahead and go back to its dock and self-empty. And we'll see how much it collected. And we will start the next pass with regular mode. Because Eco obviously did not do very good at all. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Eco mode was not very good at all. If you take a look at the floor, there is tons and tons and tons of Fruity Pebbles laying around still. So, I don't know. Eco mode, I'm going to say, is pretty worthless. Maybe it's for hardwood floors, but it's pretty bad at picking up fruity pebbles on carpet. See what it left behind in the bin. Now it did make a mess. These Fruity Pebbles weren't here, so they obviously fell out of the vacuum. So let's go ahead and pull this. So it did pretty much completely empty the dustbin, which is good. Now let's look in here. So not too much collected there. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle these back over the floor, and we will run the tip. Okay, so now we are cleaning on maximum suction. There's still one higher option, which is ultra. We're about halfway through, and it does look better. It's still missing some. Now, a second pass may get everything, but it's still leaving a little bit behind, a little bit more than I thought it would leave behind. Oh, it just dumped a lot out. Back over there by that speaker. There is a big pile there on the ground now. It bumped into that speaker leg and knocked a bunch loose, evidently. Okay, so we know how this one's going. It's picking up 90% of it. Let's go ahead and tell it to go back to the dock now. Okay, so here it is over here, looking for the dock. Okay. So let's pull it off the dock now and see if it emptied completely. Okay. Okay, so it left one little corner in here, and it looks like there was a Sweet and Low packet that may have stopped it from completely emptying. I would call that mostly a success, because once it got that Sweet and Low packet sucked out of there, it would go ahead and get the rest of it. So here's how much it captured. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there you go. I'm going to sprinkle this back on the floor. Okay, so I got the junk spread back around the room again, and we are going to do the ultra setting now and see how it does. The ultra setting is basically a max suction, and it will go in two different directions. It'll make lines back and forth across this way, and then it'll go the other way. So let's see how it does on this one. Okay, so he's done with his ultra clean. Let's go ahead and let him empty. So let's take a look around the room. And it actually looks really good this time. Besides where the my carpet already looked bad. I'm gonna have to get the carpet cleaner out. But not very many left behind. If you look real close around the edges, you'll see a few pieces around the edges. But out in the middle, there's really not very many. Very small pieces around, but not much. It did have a problem over here. It bumped against this speaker stand and knocked a bunch loose out of its container. But you see that a lot with the robot vacuums around the edges where they bump or their brushes can't get real well. You'll see little piles. And it may get this eventually after some more cleanings. Let's check and see if it emptied out its bucket completely. Oh, whoa, whoa. Where are you going? Okay, there you go. It is completely empty. Perfect job on emptying the dustbin. Let's go ahead and pop this. And look what's inside this one. Now, I'm not going to dump it out on my floor because I'm done now. How much is in there? More hair. You know, I thought the floor just had Fruity Pebbles on it, but it had a lot of hair too. So that's everything that it got off the floor. Nice and disgusting. So there you have it, guys. That was the Shark AI robot vacuum. Do I recommend it? Yeah, I suppose I would. It's okay. The app is a little weak, and don't use eco mode when you're trying to vacuum. It does a pretty good job on the ultra mode or the max section. If you can get a good deal on it, I would say go ahead and get it. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see y'all in the next one.